Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing Week 7 in the NFL. We're talking with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com, and I've asked him to take a look at Tampa Bay, Washington. Right now, Washington is a 3 or 3.5 point home favorite. Of course, Washington got blasted by the Jets, who were coming off a bye. That was a tough assignment for Washington. Tampa Bay coming off of a bye. And Joe Duffy, my sense on this one is that it's a good spot for Tampa Bay. It makes me a little bit nervous because it is kind of like a desperate situation, a must-win situation for Washington. That's always something you don't really want to, or I at least don't really want to bet against in the NFL. But Tampa Bay, you know, Doug Martin's running well. It seems like the offense is getting into a nice groove with Jameis Winston, where they expect him to do certain things that are effective, and he's buying into that. They've been harmed by penalties and turnovers in the early part of the year, but that's pretty fixable. You know, even if it's a must-win situation for Washington, they do pull out the win. They could still easily get a win, but not cover, giving 3.5. I'm thinking Tampa Bay plus 3.5 might be a great bet. What do you think, Joe?
I would agree with you. The one thing I don't completely agree when you said, I think another one of those big myths in handicapping where teams go with, a lot of people like to bet teams that are in desperate situations and quote unquote must-win situations. Well, there's a reason that Washington is in a must-win situation this early in the year. It's because they're not very good.
Suck,
However, I will say conversely, and functionally, maybe almost the same conclusion. Washington's been struggling, but when you're in the NFC East, you're still in it. So they're not, you know, it's not like their season is over. They still have something to rally around. And Jay Gruden, though, to your defense, he is basically saying that we can make this a sense of urgency here. So, yeah, I do think that the fact that there is a little bit of sense of urgency, and as poorly as they're playing, they're still in the heat of a race because of how bad the NFC East is. That is a plus for Washington. Truly, I think this is one of those games, people who like to bet the live line, this is maybe a great game for them to monitor because both of these teams have been so damn erratic. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a big lead in this game. Either one of these teams winds up blowing a lead. I think really betting the team that's trailing, if one of these teams falls down by 10 or more, maybe betting on the team that's trailing on the live line would probably be the best play here.
All right, that makes a lot of sense to me, Joe Duffy. I think I'm going to be, though, on Tampa Bay at plus 3.5. Do you want to give us an official pick here, or do you want to pass on this one?
You know, I'm going to lean a little bit towards the under. The Bucs are off of their two best rushing games, averaging 162 yards per game after just 96 their first 3 games. The Redskins were great at stopping the rush early, but they've been giving up some big yards also, with Kirk Cousins being mistake-prone. At the very least, I do think both of these teams are going to try to establish the run. Another one, if you bet first half totals or first quarter totals, I especially think under early is a very good play, but we'll say under for the game will be my official pick for the purposes of this video.
All right, interesting thoughts, Joe Duffy. Yeah, it did open at about 45. Now it's 43 or 43.5 market wide. 43.5 high enough for you to still like the under?
Yeah, I would. Whether or not it's going to be a premium play, I'm not all that sure. But again, maybe take an extra look at the first half and the first quarter totals. I do think that both teams are going to really be conservative early. So maybe the first quarter, the first half, under would be even better.
All right. Love the thoughts. As always, Joe Duffy, going official in our videos with a pick on the under 43.5, one of the market-wide numbers right now. Joe Duffy, tell us a little bit more about those premium picks that you have at OffshoreInsiders.com.
Well, like I said, when I'm preaching to the choir, when I talk about our long-term domination, most of the people that care about that are already permanent clients of ours. If you were looking for when we're red hot to jump on, now's the time. 7-3 with Wise Guy Plays. That's all sports, including a 140 underdog in Major League Baseball. We swept all of our Game of the Year plays, Conference Game of the Year plays, Divisional Game of the Year plays in the NFL and college football last week. Already sum up for this weekend. Now is the time to begin the rest of your gambling life with red hot Joe Duffy's picks, a proven long-term winner, OffshoreInsiders.com.
Okay, thanks so much, Joe.